welcome back to AnimeCons TV. I'm Doug Wilder, and I just got back from Anime Expo, and it was an interesting experience, to say the least. It's, for those of you who don't know, Anime Expo is the largest convention specifically geared towards anime in the United States. But a lot of my feelings are that it's a prime example of why everyone says bigger isn't always better, especially when it comes to conventions. One of the first things that I noticed right off the bat was there was lines for almost everything. And even like I was hearing stories of people who were in the registration line, they were just picking up their badges, not even at-door registration, and they were in line for several hours, and the reg system was breaking, and this, that, and the other. And I think part of that was you saw that people were required to fill out their information on computers whenever they arrived. And one thing I've learned from many different years doing conventions is if you have a registration system, don't let the attendees fill in their information on a computer right as they get to the front. If you're going to do it, either like hand something out on the clipboard or just have staff there to fill it out faster, because someone might be a slow typer, they might just not be familiar with the system they've never seen before. There's a lot of ways that this can break and slow things down, so it's just faster to just cut that part out of the system and work on a different format. Once again, like I said, there's lines for everything. They offer something called a Premier Badge, which gives you kind of front of the line access to almost every event. And I talked with a lot of people who have gone to AX many times, and they say this is the only way to really do it if you want to be able to get to anything for sure. And even then, it was still kind of iffy. I actually waited in line with some friends who had Premier Badges for autographs. And so we got up Friday morning, waited in line to get into this room, and we were a separate line from the general group. And then we were led into this room where you would get in line for the autograph. So we're waiting in line to get in line. And even though we have the special access, they still let everyone in on the same time. And there's a mad dash to go to the other side of this giant exhibit hall just to get in line for tickets to autographs. So we're getting in line to get in line. And this is getting close to the start time of the autograph session. So we waited in line, got into the room, got in line for our tickets, got these tickets, and then went straight to the autograph line. And then there was a special thing that happened with either like some contest or something, so they let those people get their autographs first. And the autographs, the actual guests, showed up late to the signing session, and then left before even all the people who had tickets could get their autograph. So basically, the three of us waited in line to get into another line, for an autograph, and never got anything. We wasted our entire Friday morning because there was no guarantee of this autograph. It was very frustrating, and if you're going to be handing out autograph tickets as a convention, and it's a good practice to have, don't get me wrong, but you have to make sure that it's understood either by the guests or the attendees that yes, this ticket guarantees that you will get an autograph, or no, this is not a guarantee. And it's something that, your guest department should work out with the guest that, you're expected to sign X number of things. Or, really make it clear to the attendees that they are only here from this time to this time. But also make sure your guests are getting to their autograph sessions on time so they have as much time as possible to do the signings. But another thing you see with all these attendees, I believe they were getting close to about 80,000 unique people, which is mind-boggling for me, for even going to Otakon. You see all these people here, but the thing about Anime Expo is there's not a lot of programming going on. There's a couple big screening events, couple concerts, and like only like three or so panel rooms for like programming and stuff, and some of these were track programming, so there's a limited variety, and as such, because there's not a lot to do, people are hanging out in the halls pretty much the entire convention, and you're tripping over people who are sitting in the hall. You can't find a seat if you actually want to find a bench and stuff, because there's just too many people. And it's, once again, the bigger you get as a convention, the more programming you have to offer to your attendees to give them something to do. And you create a variety of programming, and once again, more programming is always good when you're growing, because it gives people a place to sit down, and that's not in the halls. Even if it's something they have a passing interest, if they're looking for something to do, they might check it out just because they're kind of interested. Now, I'm not going to bash on everything that with Anime Expo. I did see some really neat stuff. Because of the size of the convention, there's a parking lot that's basically across the street from the convention center that has tons of food trucks and everything like that. So there's a huge variety of food options right in the area that aren't just sit-down restaurants. I got some great curry cheese fries one day. I got a couple people I know got some really good Japanese food. Huge variety, and this is a practice I'd love to see more conventions figure out a way that they can do it. I mean, I know it's hard because you don't want to compete with the food service at the convention center, but as you grow and grow, you're going to need to have more food options for attendees. So if you can look into ways to set that up, that is a really cool thing to do. I stopped by Funimation's booth, and they actually had a cool museum set up for their 20th anniversary. Let's actually take a look at that right now.
We're here at Anime Expo, and Funimation, our good friend Adam, has brought some kind of a museum to celebrate their 20th year. So what's some of the stuff you've brought over?
We got a wide variety of different stuff, including we actually have a kind of a sampling of some of our best, what we call it, and widest of a variety of like products from like VHS days all the way through like Alchemist and Trinity Bloods, big boxes, to Titan and Kama-sama Kiss we're doing today. The shelf most people are really interested in is down here, which we actually have the original Dragon Ball Z contract that we signed to actually get it made and brought over licensed, including a picture of the exact moment it was signed, our CEO, Gen Fukunaga, signing the toy office. Headshots of the original, what I call editions for Dragon Ball Z. You might know a few of these names here. As well as original ADR scripts we used to work on Dragon Ball, and audition scripts for what actually people they were going to audition for those roles. And also the very nice Dragon Balls, which are basically orange onyx, which we made in South America for a contest we did called the Biggest Baddest Dragon Ball Z Contest Ever in 2006. And going a little lower, a variety of different things, including we had an Oran Host Club we actually had in our booth at Anime Expo back in the day, with a vase and a light-up Laro. The bowl, everyone's real favorite. This is the bowl we used in Full Metal Alchemist for Alphonse, who actually we dubbed the actual tinny voice. We just put a bowl in front of the mic. That's the actual bowl. And there's a picture of Aaron Dismuke on the last day of recording for the full original series. Outside of that, basically we have a variety of stuff like this. Like Dragon Ball Z is known for having many, many, many different products. So we have a variety of different products, including molds of fitted figures, and even in step by step how some of the figures is made. Including one of my favorite pieces of merchandise, so weird, is the slippers here. So you can put your foot in Frieza's mouth and Shenlong's mouth and walk around your house.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to show us, and once again, have a great con, and looking forward to 20 more great years.
Absolutely. Or we'll still be putting Dragon Ball Z out by then. And One Piece will still be going.
Another thing that was really cool is because the premiere of the new Sailor Moon Crystal series, they had a premiere event for their screening the first episode, and because they knew this was going to be a popular event, they actually did 2 screenings of it, where they ran the first episode and everyone had a great time, and it was cool to see it with a bunch of fans, but they actually cleared the room so they could do a second screening, which is actually another thing that would be really cool for smaller for screening events that aren't as long in time, is if you know it's going to be super popular, see if you can't run it twice. I know it's seems a little counterintuitive to not to limit what you're doing. But if it's something that's popular, this gives more people a chance to see it, and it gives you two guaranteed big events that you're once again going to have people in a programming room sitting down being able to see this. As far as the area around the convention center, it's so. I saw they were running shuttle buses to a lot of the area hotels because there aren't really any hotels nearby. Even the JW Marriott, which is probably the closest hotel, is at least a 5-10 minute walk away because it's on the other side of the Staples Center and the convention center. But since you're in LA, if you've got a big chunk of time, like there's not something really interesting you at the convention center, you've got a couple hours to kill, I would actually recommend checking out Little Tokyo if you're a big fan of Japanese culture. It's just a small little part of LA, and it's not too hard to get to by subway or even a taxi if you want to spend a little extra money. And you get to see a lot of neat stuff there. I actually took a little bit of time there, found some neat stuff myself. I actually saw a good number of attendees from the convention there, even some in costume, which was really funny to me. But it's a neat little thing to check out, and if you're looking to play kind of tourist whenever you go to a convention, this is a good way to do that, but still kind of keep the convention feeling going around. So, finally, a lot of people always ask, well, why go to Anime Expo? You know, what makes Anime Expo special? And honestly, I was trying to wrap my mind around this the whole weekend because it just seemed weird that, you know, so many people go to this convention where it just doesn't even feel good. It feels very kind of mediocre. Like there's a lot of things you feel like, I know other conventions that do X, Y, and Z better and have things a lot more organized, and it's really weird to think that. So I asked people what goes, and of course people go hearing, oh, size, bigger must have a lot more, and once again, bigger is not always better. You do see a lot more from industry. There are companies that display that both from the North American side and from the Japanese side that you will never see at any other convention in the country, which is weird. But it's one of the few times that you get this big variety. And because of it, you got industry leaders who want there to talk to other people. You'll also see like some of the people in the dealer's room who you'll never see at any other convention. NHK, which is a Japanese television station, they were there, and once again, it's not really something you see at another convention, and that's a shame because I'd like to see more variety in dealers, more things like that. And I also asked kind of some of the people who I knew who said they have been going to AX for several years, and what draws them there. Why do they keep coming back even if the show's, for lack of a better term, so disorganized? And while I personally want to go again, I mean, their feeling is, it's AX, and that was kind of their excuse for everything. And it's really kind of disappointing that that's the feeling of what you'd expect to be the biggest and best show, and it's definitely the biggest. And a lot of people just said, I talked with a couple local people, even including one of our own viewers who managed to spot me. And their feeling is, it's their local convention, so it's the easiest one for them to get to. And my feeling there is, guys, save your money, save up vacation time from work, and go to conventions in other parts of the country. There's a bunch out there. Do some research, look it up, and just find out more about it. And you can really find, you'll be able to find a convention that you might want to try out. And I think once you find a convention who actually does things pretty well, you might start knocking Anime Expo off your list. I mean, it might be cheaper because you don't have to pay for a hotel room, but it's something to consider. I mean, definitely, no matter which convention you go to, it's always good to go to more and just get a variety and see which ones do things differently. And while we were saying bigger is not always better, we'd like to see our subscriber numbers get bigger. You can subscribe to us on iTunes at itunes.animecons.tv, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/animeconspodcast, or you can just watch it on our site at animecons.tv. You can always follow us on Twitter, which is twitter.com/animeconstv, and on Facebook, which is facebook.com/animeconstv. But I'm not the only one who should be talking. We want to hear your voice. You can always leave us a voicemail. Our voicemail number is 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. We're at the height of convention season, so we want more con reports. Definitely call one in. You can always do that. You can also send us an email at podcast@animecons.tv. And if you even have like a photo of like a cool costume you saw or something like that, let us know. I saw some really crazy things at Anime Expo, so I'd love to see what people are seeing at other cons. I'm Doug, and we'll see you next time.